Hey everybody, how's everybody doing tonight? Welcome into Beyond the Beard with me, Born Bearded Dave. How is everybody doing this fine evening? Hope everybody is doing well. We got some topics to talk about tonight, but before we get into that, we're going to go ahead and let some people roll in. We'll say hi to everybody and kind of get the hellos and the what's ups out of the way. Hope everybody is doing well this evening. Right. How was your guys' weekend, your Father's Day weekend this weekend? And I'm saying this weekend a lot. Hope it was a great weekend for you guys. All right. Before I get too far behind, I'm going to go ahead and start saying hi to some of the people that have already popped in. Let's see here. First in, as usual, Chris, appreciate you being here, brother. Hope everything is going well. Got those emojis going. Sam, appreciate you being here, brother. Hope everything is going well with you. The big shoe himself, Kenny, appreciate you being here, brother. Hope everything is going well with you and you had an amazing weekend. BHT Grooming, Chad, appreciate you being here, brother. Hope everything is going well with you. Hey, brother, thank you for coming in tonight. Hope everything is going well. Viking Papa, Jeff, appreciate you being here. Has that come in yet? Has that order come in yet? I haven't checked the tracking on it yet. Let me know. Lance Main, appreciate you being here, brother. Hope everything is going well. Good to see you in tonight. We got Randall. Appreciate you being in, brother. And if you have forgotten on your way in, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. That really lets YouTube know that you value what you're watching. And guys, we are on that road to 1K. I believe we're at 959. If you feel up to it and you know some people that might like this kind of content, be sure to share it out. That really helps the channel. And we got Stanley. Brother, appreciate you being here. Hope everything is going well. The one and only Miss K, aka Dot Lady, aka Ain't B. Babe, appreciate you being here. Hope everything is going good. And glad to see you home from work. And yeah, I have some time to visit over the next couple days. So glad to finally get to my weekend. It seemed to go pretty quick. I had a short week this week. We wound up going to Morro Bay this last week. It was an awesome time. We got some great photos and we made some really great memories, guys. So I'm really happy about that. The dapper Jeff Harmon, appreciate you being here, brother. Romy, brother, appreciate you being here. Hope everything is going well with you. Let me get back into the chat here, see if there's some people that I missed. And there is one right there already. Two, let's see here. So we ended off with Romy. Mike, appreciate you being here. Hope everything's going well with you tonight. Rob, Salt and Paprika. Rob, appreciate you being here. Hope everything is going well with you tonight, brother. We got a Pflugerville in here. All right. And I think I skipped one. There they are. Valahar, Veronica, appreciate you coming in tonight. Hope everything is going well with you guys. Let's see. Let's see. Trying to catch up here a little bit. Apparently, I'm hyped up tonight. I was fist pumping the air as Dave said hi to me. Hey, that works. Hey, you know what? Any enthusiasm I can get for the live stream being on, even if it's from K, I absolutely love it, guys. RJ, good to see you in tonight. Hope everything is going well with you. Excuse me, guys. In the process of trying not to get brain freeze because I ate a drumstick pretty quick there. I may have just rubbed chocolate in my eyes, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Let's see. Dennis Mitchell, appreciate you being here. Hey Dave, how you doing, brother? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Like I said, it was a short week for me. Only had like a 4-day week this week, and because we spent had 5 days off last week, and we spent 3 of those days in Morro Bay. Um, was an amazing time. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, I hear there's some things going on with YouTube tonight, so it's a little bit glitchy. So if you guys just bear with it, appreciate you guys. Um, I know we don't have a whole lot going on tonight. I don't have a whole lot pulled up, so it is. I don't think it's StreamYard, but I think YouTube is having some technical difficulties tonight. Got it in. That's awesome, man. Glad you got it in, and thank you so much. At least it wasn't hot sauce. Right, right. Yeah, because that's a pain to say the least. Oh, smooth here, Romy, but I have an advantage, I suppose. Yep, yep. Let's see. Same here, Romy. Yep. Did I miss a comment from Romy here? No, don't think I did. Yep. Okay, it's freezing up. Yeah. They are had 2 since I got home. They are good. I don't eat them very often, and I make sure not to go buy them very often, but yeah, they are good once in a while. Clear as mud here. There you go. When I was younger, I used to call them Nutty Buddies from the ice cream truck. Nice. Terra kept freezing up on my computer. Yeah, I think Sean from 8-Bit was saying that he was having some, there were some issues with it freezing up a little bit, kind of buffering. And yeah, they are addicting. All right, guys. Let's see. Dancy's been having the issue with the video freezing and audio is fine too. So you're good company. There you go. Right. Absolutely. So thank you guys for being here tonight. We do have a subject that I want to talk about tonight. But when I stuck my finger in my glasses, I put a fingerprint right where my eyeball looks out. So give me a moment to wipe that off real quick. All right. That's much better. Not trying to look through a fingerprint. True North Beer Co. Chris, appreciate you being here, brother. Hope everything is going well. All right. Yep. She's freezing a little bit too now. Yep. Yeah, I think it's YouTube. A lot of people have been saying it's a lot of the platforms. You have they said TikTok has been freezing up quite a bit lately as well, and then Twitch, I think they said is also having some issues. All right. But anyway, Chris, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys being here, and I got to get that call in with you soon. But yeah, I just so you know, I think I'm ready to go. You know what I'm talking about. Mark Johnson, appreciate you being here, brother. Hope everything is going well. Make sure to get your screenshots in tonight. Hey, I think I'd rather have the screenshots than I don't know if anybody has done it yet, but if you've actually played my videos back in especially the lives in like 2 times speed or 1.5 times speed, my laugh is yeah, chipmunk laughs. Yep, that's it. Yep. YouTube is going down. We're all doomed. No, I don't think it's going down. They'll get it back up at some point. Black Manor Grooming Renee, appreciate you being here. Hope everything is going well with you. All right, guys. So while we're getting some more people rolling in, I want to go ahead and bring this up. Let's go ahead and talk about this is what the subject is going to be tonight. Uh, you're not stuck. You're not stuck there. Moving forward from the past. So we're going to get into this a bit tonight. Um, and this is kind of driving off of a reel that I ran across not too long ago. Um, and it's kind of been really sticking in mind. What does that mean? And I think that can actually bring up a lot of good conversation. And it might open up an avenue for for us to think a little bit and see how everything goes. They say once frogs are gone, where next? I think the same happens with YouTube. Right. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and bring this up now, because this one promises to. I think we're probably going to get like right at an hour and a half, if not just over. This one's going to take a little bit of time, but what I do want to do right now is I want to do something a little off the cuff, a little bit. We're going to go ahead and say, what does everybody have in beard tonight? Let's go ahead and shout out those small batch companies that we all know and love, and let's give them some love out there. Let's kind of get that going, and we'll ask how everybody's week was here shortly, and we'll go from there. Let's see, Damien. Hey, Dave, wanted to reach out about the 3 beard oils I won in a giveaway. I did receive them, and they smell phenomenal. Thank you, Dave. Damien, I really appreciate that, and I'm glad you like them, man. I'm glad you're getting some use out of them. That is awesome. Thank you. All right. We got 8-bit Inky, EDC oil unscented tonight. Right. ULLR from Live Bearded. Pushing Daisies from B&G. Copper John's Lake Erie Oil and Butter, Flaming Beards, Blueberry Pipe, the Black Gold Blend. You know what? I do like the Black Gold Blend, but I still think I prefer the original blend, but Black Gold is definitely good too. Beard Octane, Positive Charge, and Rob, I believe you won on Dan C's live stream on Thursday, wasn't it? Was it Thursday or was it Monday? It was actually last night on Monday. I am completely lost on my days. So congratulations on that, brother. Vero, still need your shipping info. Yep, we do. BMG scent called Velvet Slaughter. Interesting. Let's see. Weatherbeard Command's Corner Oil and Team BC Hawkins Lab Butter. Yep. I prefer the original as well. Yep. Let's go. Okay. Lance Man, I've got my Cigar Lounge oil in today. Got a bunch of Weatherbeard Johnny Ray on the way to me. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm going to have to get another order in with you too as well, Ari. Let's see. The Irish Bearded Baker. Baker, brother, appreciate you being here, especially knowing that you had a particularly long day with school and everything else. So appreciate you popping in, brother. All right. For me tonight, I have, let's see, I have Earth and Sky from TNBC, True North Beard Co. It's one of those scents. I purposefully don't use it as often because I like being surprised with it when I put it in. It is a great scent. I think it was when I first did an order with True North Beer Co. I picked up the Outlaw, the Rude Dude, and Earth and Sky, and man, I tell you what, started off with some bangers, and I still absolutely love this one. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and get into it here soon. I used Earth and Sky yesterday. Definitely a wonderful fragrance. They nailed it on that one. They absolutely did. I really do like that one. And just it's rare when you can just randomly pick three and, and you really like them all. Yeah, the one I had concerns with was the Brood Dude. That one I was not expecting to like one that was root beer, but I did, and thank you so much. And Black Manor Grooming, thank you so much for the super chat. It means much. It means so much to me. Thank you guys so much, and thank you for all your support. And it's very much appreciated. All right, guys. So, you know what? Why not? If it runs a little later tonight, it runs a little later tonight, and I understand that it's already starting late, but and we'll get into as much of it as we can, and we'll kind of go from there. But I want to ask you guys, how was your weekend and how was your week from Saturday on? We had a great discussion on Saturday with Brewer and with Aaron. If you guys didn't catch that show, make sure to catch that show. It was a really awesome show. You know, Mike gave us a lot of info that you know, there's some things that I didn't even know. Very knowledgeable guy, and make sure if you guys have not done so, make sure to check out the Beard of Respect. Great group of guys over there. You know, I can't say enough about what they do, not only for charities, but what they do for this community. Amazing individuals. Let's see. You got him, Baker. Hopefully, let's see. Uh, thank you for the great barber sense. Yep, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have to hit you up, Baker, because yeah, I do love a really good barber scent, and I'm curious. South Texas, great show. Went back and watched it again. I appreciate that. I really do. Let's see. Oh yeah, he's got so much great information, and you know, Rob, I will say, you putting in the info that you have and into the chats, it helps a lot, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you a lot, and I got to say, man, thank you for being an ear as well. It's great to have that friendship and that brotherhood, man. Yep, on your own timing and at your own pace, brother. Definitely understand. Had to work this weekend, but got the last 2 days off. Tried to relax. Went to the library with Amanda and today. Nice. Brewer, never heard of her. Well, she's around from time to time. Is that Michelle or is it Michael? I don't know. Brewer Psychology Coffee. That's all personal needs. Absolutely. Ron said he had a good weekend. Cooked Father's Day dinner for his dad and his mom. I wish my dad talked more. I see him a lot, but there's not much combo. My mom and I are so close. I want that with my dad too. Well, you know, I get that. I do. I mean, a lot of the times when we go over to visit, you know, a lot of the times it's just, you know, sitting back and watching TV or, you know, or whatnot. You know, we'll get into random conversations here and there, but you know, it's the point that the fact that you made a point to visit, and you know, that sounds like an awesome Father's Day. Shout out to the replay squad, absolutely. Brother, you're very welcome, and it's my pleasure to add when I can, absolutely. And Miss Tara, appreciate you being here, the alien herself. Thank you so much for coming in, and hope you, Chris, and Finn are doing amazing tonight. And you guys had an amazing Father's Day weekend, and I hear you guys got a trip possibly coming up soon. So definitely looking forward to a maybe a possible hotel live. Maybe. Yeah. Hashtag Rob with 3 Bs. All right. Romy, I'm not very talkative, Dad, but anytime my kids are around, it's nothing but so much joy in my heart. Absolutely. Absolutely. There you go. Um, J Farm, appreciate you coming in, brother. Hope everything is going well. So yeah, this last week, some of you guys caught the random hotel live that we did. See, we left Wednesday morning, arrived in Morro Bay probably around 3 p.m. and it was awesome seeing the heat, the thermometer in the car go from 103 degrees in Kettleman City to all the way down to 64 by the time we got into Morro Bay. It was awesome. Yeah, it was great. We were able to, do the sunset at Morro Rock. We were able to go down at Embarcadero. We found a really good place for some amazing, for an amazing clam chowder bowl. Um, and it's been a while since I've had one that good, and it was really amazing. We got some great pictures, made some great memories. We got our bottle of sand from Morro Bay. We typically do that when we go out somewhere and just kind of make sure we kind of capture the memory of it. And we got Hotel California. It was a hotel in California, and that's honestly a really good scent too. Just recently got that one. Bearded Bullfrog, appreciate you coming in. Hope everything is going well with you. Crash, appreciate you coming in. Baker, I'm sure my dad had the same joy. I'm happy he always shows up and has. Yep, absolutely. Oh yeah, that reminds me, you have got to change the thumbnail on that live. I was assaulted by my own face on my YouTube feed. I will definitely put a thumbnail on it, babe. He's not dismissive of me, just quiet. I learned not to express myself. All right. JB, get you wrecked. Appreciate you being in, brother. Hope everything is going well. Miss K Cups. Yep. Which reminds me, guys, I did not put the in my notes. I did not save the link, but make sure to check out Busy Bee Collective. She has got an American Heritage thing going on with her. She's got like I think 6 or 8 cups that she's done for American Heritage for 250 years. Make sure you check those out. She outdid herself on these, and the more she does this, the more I'm impressed with the ideas that she comes up and the quality that she does. So make sure to check those out. Let's see. I got my smashed coin. Was a dime instead of a penny this time. Yep. Let's see. By saying hi. Crash, appreciate you becoming a member. All right, guys. And just so you guys are aware, with the membership, there's really not anything overly extra. You do get some emojis that we have put in. And that's pretty much it. There's really no special content or anything out there like that. I do like keeping the content free, and everybody being able to come in and not feel like they have to pay to play or anything like that. So I really do appreciate the memberships. That definitely does support the channel. And thank you so much. I appreciate that, Crash. Let's see. Yeah, those K-Cups, they are fire. She did really, really good. Yeah. Baker, yours is shipping out tomorrow. Yep. Dave sends beard hairs to members. Not purposefully, but it could happen. It is, but I really enjoy it. It's one of those things that I enjoy a whole lot more than I ever thought that I would. When I first started, it felt right, and it took me a little longer to go live than what I should have, but man, I'm absolutely loving this ride. Got some great people in this community, some great chats that happen, and some great company owners that keep in touch. It's it's really been an amazing ride, and we're getting so close to that thousand, that 1K marker. That is a goal, and I can't wait to hit that. We will be doing, most likely be doing some giveaways and things like that for the 1,000 subscribers. So again, guys, make sure to share this out if you guys get the chance. So, Kay, my wife wants a flower cup that you have. Order coming in really soon. Appreciate that, Abe. Uh, uh, if was love at first sight, when she saw it, a decision was over. Yeah, and I will say that the photos and it just doesn't do it justice. The colors are so vivid, and she did such an amazing job on those. There you go. And that road to 1K. Absolutely love it. You see, I know that means something, but I'm almost afraid to say because I don't know. I missed that one, Tara. My bad. All right. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and get into it a little bit. Um, we're just going to kind of play with it a little bit and see how far we get into it tonight. I do want to get through it a bit tonight. So tonight's going to be one of those conversations that I think can go a lot of different directions. Like I said earlier, it's not necessarily a heavy night, not a night where we have to unpack every painful thing that we've been through. But I do want to have a real conversation because I saw something recently that kind of stuck with me. And maybe you guys have seen it too. It was a reel on Instagram with Harrison Ford talking about the past, scars, and letting go. And the way it came across to me was not about pretending that the past didn't happen. It was more about this idea that our scars are part of living. They're part of experience, a part of getting older. They're a part of being who we are. Um, and it got me thinking a bit. How often do we say we want to move forward, but part of us is still living in an old chapter? Maybe it's something that happened to us. Maybe it's something that we did. It could be regret. Maybe it's failure. Maybe it's this old version of ourselves that we're still trying to outgrow. So tonight, I just want to kind of talk about this, moving forward from the past without forgetting the past. Because I don't think letting go means erasing. I don't think moving forward means like acting like it didn't matter. Um, and I don't think that healing means pretending that it didn't hurt. Uh, but I do think there comes a time where we have to ask ourselves, is this still teaching me? Or is this now controlling me? That is really where I want to go with this tonight. If you guys are on board, I would definitely please make sure to feel free to comment, and I will get into these comments as much as possible. I am bouncing back and forth a bit to my bullet points, but don't your scars make or break the person you are? Well, I think your scars can actually show that you've learned, right? You've learned something. Have we started talking about food yet? I'll start. I added pretzels to my chocolate chip PB oatmeal. That does sound interesting. I know if AA Iran was in here, he probably cringe a little bit at that oatmeal. Let's see. Now Rob says, looking in the review does us now good, but the scars, pain, issues give us more strength, and we realize road to resilience. Yep, absolutely. Those old trauma responses can definitely control your actions way more than you realize. That's why self awareness and self reflection are so important. Absolutely. Pretzels are making me thirsty. Get some water. No, I did not intend for that to, sound like any particular accent, but right, Rob. Yep. H20. Yep, got to get some H20 in there. And doing our best to look forward. And sometimes that's the best that we can do, especially if we're currently going through things. We have to. Sometimes it's hard to set aside the past, but in order to move forward, eventually that's something that we have to do. Um, Baker says, I've been scared to move forward for years, but said, F it, need to do it. And that is in all aspects of life. Absolutely. No lie, in the past, I have to admit guilt and letting the past scars hold me back. Yep. What a kid. Yep. There you go. I believe that you can learn from the past. I try my best to learn from the good or bad examples that I have seen in my life. Yep. You two must be suffering tonight. It dropped me down to 480p to avoid them freeze frames. Sorry to hear that, brother. We're going to keep pushing through though, and if it ends up getting too bad, we might segue. We might segue a little bit because I do really want to get this message out there, and I would really like for this, to be as smooth as possible. But we're going to try it. Same, Sam. I still find that to be the case sometimes. I'm working on it though. Yep. Baker, come on, where you at with the pretzels? Yep. My dad always said, as long as you learn, that's what means the most. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I'm totally fine. I'm here for the content and the vibes. Absolutely. And we appreciate that, Romy. All right. So, I mean, and that's really the heart of the conversation tonight. The past can be part of your story without being the place that you live. Um, and again, that doesn't mean that your past didn't matter. It doesn't mean that those scars are not real. It does not mean that we can ignore accountability, and it doesn't mean that we have to act like nothing happened. It means that the past can shape us, it can teach us, it can leave marks on us. But it doesn't have to control every step we take today. Because I think when people hear the phrase "let go of the past," sometimes it feels dismissive. It can sound like somebody is saying, just get over it, move on, forget about it, stop talking about it, stop letting it bother you. And that's not what this conversation is. Tonight is not about pretending. Tonight is not about burying things. And it's not about acting like those painful things were not painful. Tonight is about learning how to move forward without letting the past keep its hands on the steering wheel. So let me ask you guys before we really start getting into it. When you hear the phrase "let go of the past," does that really feel helpful to you, or does it feel dismissive to you? So I think that phrase can hit people differently. When you hear the phrase "let go of the past," does that feel helpful to you, or does that feel dismissive? It's only excellence in 4K. Agree, Dave. Totally. Yeah. Exactly. The scars tell where you've been, not where you're going. Absolutely. But we can get stuck on those. We can get stuck feeling like we have to stay in that place. That we ventured out and wound up getting that scar. And if we venture out again, you know, Sometimes it can keep us where we're at versus allowing us to push forward. Not helpful at all. It is dismissive. Yep. So dismissive. But and here you go. You got Stan here and says that it's helpful. And I think it depends on the person and how they're perceiving it at the time. I mean, there's no wrong answer. Um, it does have a dismissive tone. It depends on the tone and the context. Yep, absolutely agree. Uh, Past helps because it shows mistakes you have made, and we grow because of that. Absolutely agree. And yeah, I could see how it can feel dismissive. Like just get over it. Yep. And Crash says it's helpful to him. You know, and sometimes we just kind of need that snap. You know, and I agree. I think it's the tone that it's said and the context. I absolutely agree. Let's see. Hang on to the past. There's a reason it happened and should remain a memory, good and bad. Yeah, it's good to have the memory of the past as long as it's not holding you back. And absolutely take your past and use it as motivation for a better future. Yep. Absolutely agree, Baker. We cannot live in the past, but it can help pave a path forward. Absolutely. Absolutely agree. Uh, And yeah, that's kind of the core message of it tonight. Um, for some people, it sounds freeing though. Hearing the, let go of the past. So for some people, it sounds freeing. For others, it sounds like somebody saying, "Just get over it." Those are two very different things, right? Uh, and then, and this is one of those I want to kind of bring up too. So let's see here. You know, letting go does not mean you're forgetting. We're not erasing the past. We are taking back the steering wheel, right? And that's kind of where we're seeing it tonight. I've learned from past not to make the same mistakes, not to repeat the cycle of behavior. Yep, yep. And that's exactly it. We're not erasing the past. We're taking back the steering wheel. I want to start here because I think this is where a lot of people get stuck. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It doesn't mean pretending that it didn't hurt. Um, it does not mean acting like it was not a big deal. It does not mean people get a free pass. That's a big one, guys. It doesn't mean that people get a free pass. Does not mean you're weak. It doesn't mean that you're giving somebody permission like it was okay what they did. Doesn't mean that you have to erase something that changed you. Some things do matter. Some things did hurt. Some things changed us, and some things left scars. And we should not have to pretend otherwise just to make other people feel comfortable. But there's a difference between remembering something and reliving it every day. That's where we don't want to be. We don't want to have to relive it every day. There's a difference between learning from your past and letting the past lead every decision. There's a difference between saying, "This happened to me," and saying, "This is where I live now." There's a difference between saying, "This happened to me," and saying, "This is where I live now." That is the difference I want to talk about tonight, because sometimes letting go is not about saying it was okay. Sometimes letting go means saying, "I can't keep paying for this every single day. I cannot keep giving this moment power over every relationship that I have. I cannot keep letting this mistake decide who I am." I cannot keep letting that old pain speak louder than the person I'm trying to become. Let me get that one out again. I can't let that old pain speak louder than the person I'm trying to become. That is a different kind of letting go, right? That's not for forgetting. It's not for pretending. It's saying, I remember it. I learned from it. I carry the lesson. But I'm not going to keep carrying that weight the same way. And I think that's important. That I'm not going to keep carrying that weight the same way. That's important, guys. Yep. My past has helped me for my present situation and given strength I need to open doors. Absolutely. Crunchy tamales in the past, eat the meat only in the present. There you go. A learning moment in time. Yep. Yep. I like that. Not letting the past get in the way of who you want to become. Absolutely. And that's important. Thank you, Abe. Tamales are a life lesson in so many ways. Right. Especially if they're crunchy. Yep. Jeff says mental health is the reason my oldest son is incarcerated. Very hard topic for me. Some things can't be left behind. Right. Right. And some of those things they take time. Yeah. They do take time. A lot of the things, and a lot of us carry things a lot longer than we realize. Sometimes we carry it in how we react. Sometimes we carry it in how we trust. Sometimes we carry it in how we talk to ourselves. Sometimes we carry it in how we talk to ourselves. Sometimes in our mental health journeys, we are our own worst enemy, because, you can sit and think about how many times that you've said something negative to yourself about the current situation or about what's going on. But how many times have you talked to yourself and talked positivity to yourself? Remember, guys, we've said it here before. Your words have power. They can dig you down a hole, or they can lift you up, even when you're speaking about yourself. Sometimes we also carry it in how guarded we are. Carry it in the way we expect things to go wrong before it even happens. Yeah, and yeah, I've been one of those too. We carry it in the way we expect things to go wrong before they even happen. I've been guilty of that one. Um, and I think the hard part is sometimes that started as protection. At one point, that wall may have made sense. At one point, that reaction may have been survival. And you may be at that point right now where that wall is survival. At one point, the mindset may have been how you got through something. But what helped you survive one season may not be what helps you live in the next one. What helped you survive one season may not be what helps you live in the next one. That's where growth starts getting uncomfortable, because we have to ask ourselves, is this still protecting me? or is this holding me back? I don't want to end up bitter. Bitter old man. Just an old man. There you go. Absolutely agree. We are our own worst critics sometimes. But you know what? We could be our best cheerleader too. I know it sounds weird when you start, talking good things about yourself. But you know what? There's power in words. I believe that. So let me bring this to you guys. What do you think people misunderstand about letting go? What do you think people misunderstand the most about letting go? Do you think it do they think that it means that forgetting? Do they think that it means forgiveness? Do they think it means weakness? Do they think it means the other person got away with it? Because I think that's where a lot of people struggle. What do you think a lot of people misunderstand about letting go? A family that has gone through similar situations, hard to watch and feel helpless. Yep. Yep. And this is kind of where I want to be careful too, because I'm not saying every situation is simple. There's some things that people go through that are deeply painful. And there's some things that take years to work through, guys, even with therapy. There's some things where help, counseling, therapy, faith, support, or community, it may be necessary. So when I say move forward, I'm not saying rush. I'm not saying skip the process. I'm not saying you should be over it by now. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that moving forward is still possible, even if it's slow. You know, we say it here a lot, one step at a time. And some days are going to be better than others. The goal is not perfection. The goal is movement. All right. I am bouncing back and forth between the chat here and my bullet points, guys. So forgive me if I'm missing the chats. Maybe they think the past should be forgotten, buried, or left behind. Yeah, yeah. And I think that's a common misunderstanding. You know, letting go and moving forward doesn't mean that you have to forget it or leave it behind. You know, there's always that lesson to be learned from it. The lesson is what you take forward. Miss K says, I think letting go is often interpreted as forgiveness, which can definitely feel like letting someone get away with having done you wrong sometimes. Yep, it can. And we're just trying to change the perception of it here a little bit. So we're getting into another section of this, and thank you guys for letting me getting through that first section, because that kind of set the foundation of where we're going uh, with the conversation tonight. So section 2 is, if letting go doesn't mean that we're forgetting, then what do we do with the scars that are left behind? Because most of us have some, and some are visible, some are not. And that brings me to, the next part. Your scars can show what you survived without deciding who you become. Your scars can show what you survived without deciding who you become. Certain parts of my life I would love to forget, but again, it made me the man I am today. Yep. I like to interpret letting go as no longer allowing it to have power over you and how you live life. Yep. And Tara says, I was wrong so badly by someone that it reframed my entire life and probably has now made it easier for me to let go, to let things go because everything else seems like small potatoes now. Yep, absolutely. But it's carrying the lesson, right? And yeah, and that's it. You carried the lesson, which is making it easier to let things go. Hmm. It says, I thought about that. Take your scars and promise yourself that you won't inflict the same scars on others. Yep. But you know what? We make mistakes too, you know, and some of those scars are our own mistakes that we've made. Interesting take, Tara. It had a positive effect in the end. Yep. No, you're tiny potatoes. Tiny, tiny. Uh, my past has made the man I am today, plus my upbringing. Yep. Now, it, your scars can show what you've survived without deciding who you become. Right. This is the part that that really got me thinking about how strange would it be to get to a certain age and have no scars, no hard seasons, no mistakes, no losses, no lessons, no moments that changed you. And when I think about that, it makes sense because scars are part of living. Scars mean something happened. It means that there was a wound. They mean that there was pain. But it also means something else. They mean that you survived it. They mean that the wound did not go, that wound didn't get the final word. They mean that something healed, even if it didn't heal perfectly. It means that you've been through something that you've healed from, even if it didn't heal perfectly. And that's powerful. But here's where we have to be careful. A scar can be proof, but it shouldn't be a prison. A scar can be proof, but it shouldn't be a prison. A scar can remind you of what you've survived, but it shouldn't decide everything about who you are. It could be part of your story, but it shouldn't become your whole identity. Because there's a big difference between saying, this happened to me, and saying, this is all I am now. And that difference really does matter. Because sometimes we can start identifying with what hurt us. We become the betrayal, we become the failure, we become the divorce, we become the mistake, we become the rejection, we become that addiction, we become that anger, we become that season that almost broke us. And I get why that happens, because that pain can be really loud. That pain can be consuming. Pain can make us feel like everything before it and everything after it is connected to that moment. But there has to be a point where we say, this is a part of me, but it's not all of me. Yes, this has changed me, but it doesn't get to define me forever. You know, yeah, your past tries to hold you, tries to define you, It don't own you. It doesn't get to define you forever. Potato skins, load of potato skins, K. Oh, scars are battle wounds. Yeah. Yep. Chris, appreciate you being in, brother. Hope everything is going well. I think everybody has scars. Nobody's immune to them. Yep. Yep. Wear it like a badge. Yep. Jeff said, I thought what happened as a boy would follow me forever. And then I met my wife, and I was never more happy about being wrong. Absolutely. Yeah, it was probably crunchy. Do you cook potatoes? Now, Baker, you're Irish, man. You should know. And he says the wife made everything okay. That's the best way to put it. Yeah. A person with no emotional scars has lived in a bubble. To be honest, we all have scars from something or another, but letting go and taking the power back is what stops it from becoming a festering wound. I agree. And we can reprogram our brains. It takes time, but it can be done. Absolutely. It does take time. And nothing I'm saying today is something I'm saying, you need to hit that reset button and it needs to be done right now. It takes time. It takes friendship. It takes community. It takes therapy. It takes, counseling, whatever it takes, but move forward. Sam says, in my past, I inflicted scars on people because of the scars of my past. I wish I would have known back then how wrong I was in doing that. Yep. Yep. And a lot of us guys, we hold some of those scars of our past, of, you know, especially, in our younger years. Yep. I agree. Eat potatoes like I eat my onions, like an apple. That's amazing, Jeffrey. Sometimes it takes someone knowing, uh, somebody showing you love that you always deserve to make things feel okay again. Yep. Yep. Knew there was something special about you, Romy. Yep. Max is upset with movie holes right now. Yep. All right. Again, guys, your past and the things that have happened, it doesn't get to define you forever. Yes, the scar is real, but I am more than the wound that created it, and that's where we need to get. Yes, the scar is real, but I am more than the wound that created it, and that is what I mean by moving forward. It's not hiding the scar, not being ashamed of the scar, not building your entire identity around it either. Your scars can show you that you survived without deciding who you become. Do you think people sometimes get stuck identifying what hurt them? Do you think that sometimes people get stuck identifying with what hurt them? One more time, guys, and see if because I don't think I said that very clear. I apologize. I'm on a few hours sleep here. Do you think that people sometimes get stuck identifying with what hurt them? Not because they want to, but because it became such a big chapter that they don't know how to use. Right? Mm, Let me rephrase. It was such a big chapter that they don't know how to see themselves outside of that anymore. Does that make sense? It was such a big chapter for them that they don't know how to see themselves outside of that anymore. Do you think people sometimes get stuck identifying with what hurt them? I think people absolutely build their identity around their past traumas. Yeah. Can't lose the association. You mean? Yep. Yep. Yeah. I can agree with that. It could be denial or just innocence that they can't ID the problem as a problem to a point. Yep. My niece is that way. I think so. Possibly they don't know how to cope. They do you think that is why they turn to drugs or alcohol to bury the pain? I think that's definitely a factor. Um, if you're living in such a big moment of something that happened, that it becomes yeah. Think of a book. You know, you have X amount of pages per chapter. You know, if you get stuck in that chapter is going to go on and those pages are going to be the size of a book until you move past it. And I think that some people get so stuck in that all they feel is that pain and they feel that they do what they can to try to bury it. But I also think that's where counseling and therapy and make such a huge difference and why it's so important. Because I mean, with everything that we do, your body tends to become immune to the things. That's why, sometimes it can start off as, one drink, here and there to becoming alcoholic to, certain drugs, and for recreation and then becoming addicted. Because sometimes you instead of dealing with the pain, we try to bury it and it keeps coming back. That old pain will always come back until you learn to a path through it. Yep. Best rock Balboa is about how hard you get hit and keep moving forward and how much you can take and keep moving. Yep. My ego is light and fluffy, neither here nor there. Yep. Jeff says sometimes the pain is so bad they go out of their way to avoid it. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. And that's yeah, and that definitely very and that's where mental health movement gets dangerous is when it gets trendy. I absolutely agree. Yep. Downward spiral. Yep. Same Jeffrey, your girl avoids simple conflict like the plague. I'm definitely guilty of that, but I recognize it as well as the damage avoidance has caused, and I work on it frequently now. Yep. Lived at the bottom of the bottle for years. I don't recommend it. Yep. Right. And I think all of us probably have some kind of version of that. Maybe we don't always say it out loud, but there's certain things that we go through that make us see ourselves differently. Maybe we used to be more trusting. Maybe we used to be more open, more confident. We used to believe in people more. Maybe you used to believe in yourself more. Then something happened. Now we're just now we're not just remembering what happened. We're living from that place. That's where this conversation matters. Because moving forward doesn't mean becoming the person you were before it happened. Sometimes that person is gone. Sometimes life changes us. But moving forward means that we don't have to become trapped in the worst thing that we've been through. Moving forward means that we don't have to become trapped in the worst things that we've been through. There can now be a new version of us after the scar. Not untouched, unchanged, but still here. Still growing, still capable of peace, still capable of purpose, capable of connection, and capable of becoming somebody better. And this next part is probably one of the biggest parts of the conversation because moving forward from the past is not always about what somebody else did. Sometimes it's about moving forward from who we used to be. But before we get into that, I'm going to catch up with you guys here a little bit. As you were talking alcohol, it misinterpreted that. But my comment still applies, I think. Yep. There's a wall with the door only some can break in. Yep. It changed you. It's hard to make that change for the better. It is, but it's not impossible. You have to know one that there is a way for better, and two that you deserve better. Kay's one heck of a mod. Her responses are always timely, lengthy, rarely has errors, and responds to everyone at some point. And she is amazing, guys. It's because of her that I'm able to dig into some of these things the way I do, and yeah, and I really do appreciate her. Baker, like the analogy, trauma can make you put up walls, and you don't have to tear them down completely. Sometimes you can simply put a door and decide who gets to come through, right? Kind of goes back to protecting that peace, right? We talked about that a couple weeks ago. Yep. Thank you, Romy. I often feel bad for writing full paragraphs, but I do have the advantage of no stream or delay since I'm in the same room as Dave. Yep. In some ways, I'm lucky. I moved from the alcohol and the bad thing that happened. Now I worry about my son and how it affects my wife. Yep. All right, guys. This next section, I called this one, moving forward from the old you. Accountability matters, but self-punishment is not the same thing. Accountability matters, but self-punishment is not the same thing. And this part might actually hit the most, because if it's one thing to talk about moving forward from what's happened to us, it's another thing to talk about moving forward from the old version of ourselves. That version that reacted badly, that made the bad choices, the one that hurt people, the one that was angry, that was insecure. The version of us that didn't know how to communicate, the one that was always in survival mode, the one that didn't know any better. or maybe it did know better, but still did not do better at the time. That, and that is hard because even regret can be heavy. And I think for a lot of us guys, we especially carry regret quietly. Do you guys agree with that? What do you guys think about that statement? That a lot of us guys, especially, we carry regret quietly. Yep. Mhm. We may not always talk about it. We may not always say, "I'm ashamed of that." We may not always say, "I wish I handled that differently," but it sits there. And sometimes even after we've changed, we still punish ourselves like we were that same person. And that's a hard place to live, guys, because accountability does matter. But I want to be very clear on that. Growth doesn't mean pretending that we never made mistakes. Growth does not mean dodging responsibility. Excuse me. Growth doesn't mean that we're saying, well, that was the old me as an excuse to avoid owning what we did. That's not growth. Real growth says, I did that. I said that. I handled that poorly. I was wrong there. I should have done better. And I'm working on not being that person anymore. That's accountability. But accountability and self punishment is not the same thing. There's a difference between owning your past and being chained to it. There's a difference between learning from who you were and hating yourself forever for who you were. There's a difference between learning from who you were and hating yourself forever for who you were. There's a difference between regret and growth. You know, growth says, I wish I can go back. Growth says, I can't go back, but I can go forward differently. That's the key. You know, we can't undo every mistake. We can't rewrite every chapter. We can't repair every relationship. We don't always get to give that apology, you know. And sometimes you can't always give the apology in the way that fixes everything. But you can become different. You can live different. You can choose different, respond different. You can live a life that's proven that proves that you've actually learned. And at some point you allow yourself to grow. You can be accountable for those who are with you. Let me rephrase. You can be accountable for who you were without being changed, without being chained to that version of yourself forever. You can be accountable for who you were. You can be accountable for who you were without being chained to the version of yourself forever. If you never allow yourself to grow past the old version of you, then what was the point of the learning? What was the point of changing? What was the point of becoming better? At some point, you have to stop introducing yourself to your future by your worst chapter. It's easy to live in regret. And I carried that for many years. Yep. It's definitely a tough one. I don't know your exact situation, but having a loved one incarcerated is hard, and I know it took a toll on me. I felt bad that Dave got dragged into it. Uh, Most guys would agree with you. Yep. So, Dave, is the old you ever gone? Because at times the old Baker comes through. At times needs, but the change Baker has the most of my time, though. I like to say that there's times where you know I think everybody's heard the expression of that bury that old man, that old part of us, and I think it can creep its head up from time to time. Um, it's what you decide to do with that. You know, um, it does pop up at times. The person that we used to be, but y- the you that's learned will always be able to look at that and say, "Hey, is this worth it? Is this worth going back and having a possibility of having that regret?" This reminds me of Dad Bods and Beards episode, but they were saying that guilt and shame are not the same. Shame says, I'm a bad person. Yep. And guilt says, I've done bad things. One will leave your one will leave you stuck, and the other pushes you to do better. Yep, absolutely. I think that's a great example of past sticks. Yep. But you get to choose which one shows up, and even if your past self tries to creep up, and that's the thing about growing past it is you have that ability to do so. Okay, I'll email you if you're interested in the details. It will always be there, but you don't have to let it define who you are today. Absolutely agree. And sometimes people around you would keep reminding you of who you used to be. And that could be hard too, because maybe you really have changed. Maybe you're really trying. Maybe you really are not the same person anymore. But someone else still sees through the old version. That doesn't mean they owe you instant trust, especially if you hurt them. Trust takes time. Healing takes time. People are allowed to have their processes too. But at the same time, you can't let someone else's outdated picture of you become your identity. You can respect that they need time. You can own what you did. You can make amends where possible. But you still have to keep growing, even if they do not see it yet, even if they never see it. And that's hard, but it's real. You know, let's see about this next section. So, do you want to share? Absolutely. Appreciate you guys being here. I know tonight's topic is a little on the deeper side. Um, Let me see. Guys, I think we're gonna go ahead and pick up on this possibly next Tuesday. Um, the next section is a bit of a section here. The past can teach you without leading you, um, and I think I made this one a bit longer than I intended to. Um, Let me look through my stuff here. I mean, we've talked about what it means to move forward, but also wanted to make, this has got to be practical too, right? Because it's easy to say move forward, but what does that actually look like? And that's where we would be getting into on the next section. Most of my regrets were not speaking up at the moment, and I could have made a difference and handled it differently. Yep, absolutely. Someone fart and clear the air. Well, guys, I'm going to go ahead. I think we're going to go ahead and push the rest of this on for the following Tuesday. We're going to do a part 2 on this. It shouldn't take as long to get through the next section. It's not nearly as long, but even tonight, I think it wound up being a little bit deeper than I intended. But I'm kind of curious. I want to see what you guys think about some of the stuff that we've talked about today, and and kind of really put some thought to it. For maybe for next Tuesday. It ain't homework or anything like that, but it'd be cool to kind of get some of your guys' thoughts after it kind of setting for a minute. Um, Again, I didn't expect this one to be as deep as it did today, but I think the next one is really going to show the positive aspects of this and how to kind of perfect with time building yourself and um, and not just damning yourself to an existence that kept you trapped in the past forever. Mark followed by a fart. It takes his time and structure these. It does take time, and I appreciate you noticing that, Romy. Thanks for the show, Dave. It really helps, and I appreciate you and everyone in the chat. Well, thank you guys so much, guys. I do appreciate it. I know this isn't for everybody, and this is a beer channel that talks about mental health and talks about certain things, and sometimes we get in pretty deep, but I think next week's we'll be able to finish this up. We'll push through, and we're just next Tuesday is going to be the last Tuesday of June, and not only do I want to finish this up pretty quickly, not only do I want to finish this up pretty quickly on the following Tuesday, but I want to see what we can do to have some fun next Tuesday. Let's kick off Men's Mental Health Awareness Month with a bang and just make it memorable. I know June is the month for men's mental health awareness, but with you guys here, we can make it a daily thing. We're breaking that stigma day by day. So thank you guys so much for being here. I don't know that I'm necessarily ready to go yet. Let's see. I love these conversations. You never know which direction the chat will go with things, and it's always a great chat with friends. Absolutely. Um, and that's I'm at that point when something hits me, whether it be a reel or a movie or a thought or a quote that I've read. It's been sticking with me lately, and I just kind of feel like I kind of got to get it out on paper or get some bullet points made, and see if you guys ever thought about it in that way. It just show how we're human and all have a past that we strive to do better, Dave. Absolutely, absolutely. And you know what? If we can go through as a community and sit and watch some of these and go through some of these and have discussion with these, and it lets somebody who's currently going through a rough time see that there's light at the end of the tunnel. I don't think I don't think there's a lot of people that realize how powerful that is for somebody who can't see that light right now. I would like it in the deep end sometimes. Yep. Always an interesting listen, and your voice is relaxing. Crash, I appreciate that. Got a little serious. Thanks for understanding. Absolutely, Jeff. And if you ever need to talk or want to talk, yeah, you have my email. You have my number. Feel free to get a hold of me any way you would like, and even if it's just to listen or vent. And that's with anybody in here. Um, my socials are pinned into the link tree into the comment there. I am a lot more prevalent on Instagram, Facebook. For some reason, it doesn't like me. I'm trying to fix that with my new current phone to see if I can make sure that I'm getting my notifications. I will eventually get them. Make sure you guys are messaging on the Born Bearded channel, Facebook channel, if you're messaging there. Um, because for some reason, my personal is one that I have a hard time getting my messages and stuff from. So, Baker only on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Thanks, Dave K in the room. Absolutely. Um, break the stigma. Yep, that's what we're here for, guys. Uh, you heard them, folks. Time for a food segue. Yeah, let's get into that food segue, guys. What do you guys got? What did you guys? Oh, here's one. What did you guys have for your Father's Day dinner? Or, or what do you have planned for July 4th? Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for the emojis. Miss K had enchilada soup for dinner, 2 ice creams for dessert. What y'all have for dinner? Tomorrow is a new day. Absolutely. Rejoice and be glad in it. All right. Abe said he had a nice salad for dinner, corn dogs. Not saying what we had for dinner, Kay. You slap me. Let's see. Much love, everyone. Take time to love yourself and not just the way Baker is thinking. Right. Uh, where's Tara? She loves funny typos. Right. Uh, homemade mac and cheese and grilled chicken quarters. Nice. Dave got the numero flip, so be patient. Nope. Teriyaki salmon. Sounds good. Sounds good. Let's see. Had pizza on Father's Day. Wanted to eat at home with family and edit videos. There you go. Uh, I grilled blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna try that again. I grilled ballpark dogs, Dad's request, with fancy hot dog buns, baked beans, and my mom made her amazing macaroni salad. Awesome. Abe, was that a salad from your garden? Now you got her. Now you got her thinking. Taco Bell. Nope. Went to Ruby's for an awesome burger and homemade root beer. I haven't had homemade root beer in a really long time. Planning on going to watch the fireworks on the 3rd with one of my best friends and his wife. There you go. Nice. Haven't eaten. Yeah, we might have to change that. Might have to change that. Got to get something in your stomach, brother. Homemade root beer, sign me up. Yep, right. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely have to remedy that, sir. Don't worry. You'll be hungry by the time we're done here. Right. Yeah. Guys, I think we're gonna work on wrapping it up tonight. Thank you guys so much for being here. It was a good show, and we'll continue where we left off on Tuesday. Yeah, I didn't condense it as much as I thought I was going to, but really looking forward to finishing this up on Tuesday and having a fun night on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday evening. Remember, Saturday, we are here on Saturday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern for the Bearded Can with me and Ray's Bearded AA Ron. And, promising to have a good night that night as well. Just have some conversation, hang out with you guys, and just have a really fun night. I got some what would your name be things coming up. Really excited for that. Viking Buzz, he's gonna find a 24-hour Whataburger. There you go. Excuse me. All right. With all that said, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and let you run for tonight. And we will see you guys on Saturday on the Bearded Kin, 9 p.m. Eastern. Remember, hit that thumbs up if you forgot to do so on your way in. Share this out even once it posts. I think it's 24 hours from the time that it hits live that you can actually share it or whatnot. But if you guys get an opportunity, share it. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for coming in. Thank you all of you guys that have become members tonight. And for the super chats, you guys have a great night. And I will see you guys on Saturday. Look forward to hearing you guys Saturday and hearing what your wins were. Have a great night, everybody. Good night.
This is beyond the beer. This is who you are. Every hidden battle, every unseen scar. You're still standing here. You made your way. One more breath, one more step, one more day. You're not done yet.